Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod, Season 11, Episode 15. We are the Midwest's most dangerous podcast, and we're coming to you live from the NECA IBEW Powerian, Indiana, Lake County studio.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I've been back for like just a mere hours. I wake up this morning, drive in, and I'm called a robber baron, and then for like the next freaking 10 minutes, nothing but dire predictions for the city of Hammond.
Oh.
Welcome back.
Congratulations.
I'm like,
wait, where was this?
I assume WMCD.
I listened to MCD on the way in.
Robber Baron.
I just looked up
Fucking
robber baron.
Robber baron? What the?
That's great.
So, I think I knew what it was, but
Morning,
here's
Jill.
the official definition,
Boo.
right? We all learned about it in. Oh, good morning, Jill. Thanks for filling in for Notorious LMP,
Who is?
working on a nursing
It's
board.
not Friday, guys. It's only Tuesday.
It is.
It
I
feels
woke
like
up
a
this
Friday.
morning. I was like, "Why do I have to go to court on Friday twice?" And I was like, "I swear to God, I thought it was Friday." I was like, "Oh my God, it's Tuesday."
Why, you saw Jill? And you're just like in Friday mode?
Before that, and then this confirmed it. I'm still
When
in
I
Friday
see Jill,
mode.
I
Jill.
automatically go to Friday mode. That's why I like seeing Jill.
You get
That's
us
why
in
I
that
word
Friday
her
mood.
present to me.
Lovely. Look at
Yeah.
that.
I'm in summer
jealous
mode.
of that one, by
Is
the
that
way.
a stain or what's happening on this?
What is that?
I get cleaned up before each show. I don't know if you guys knew that. I basically shower in Kevin's sink. And I got a little
Like,
carried away
you
this
take a
That's
morning.
kind of like
bath?
bums do, right? Like bums do in the
Dude,
truck
I have
stops.
straight up like armpits and everything in your sink.
Awesome.
You don't want your
That's
pits
awesome.
to stink when you come in.
No.
I'm kidding. I don't do armpits in there. But I do a full head shower.
Like a splash.
Not even a splash.
Really?
It's like a soaking.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I like soak down.
Today you went a little overboard.
Yeah.
Got on the collar.
Yeah. But like, I don't want to come in here looking like
Fair.
Like
think
I
that's
present
right.
myself like shit to the public. But when I come on Lockpod, I want to look good,
You want
right?
to look
That
like
is
a
not true.
respectable
I don't mind
robber
if
baron.
that's right. If I'm walking around with my hair sticking up, I don't give a crap, right? And then I come in Lockpod, I'm like, damn, I got to clean myself up.
So I think we all learned about robber barons in history class. Here's the definition: an American capitalist of the latter part of the 19th century. So you already don't fit.
Yeah.
Who
well,
became-
capitalist,
That's true.
eliminates me also.
There you go. Who became wealthy
I'm too poor to be a capitalist.
through exploitation of natural resources, governmental influence, or low wage scales.
Yeah. He was talking about what we're doing with water to help balance our budget. God forbid we freaking try
Take
to
advantage of the resources that are given to you.
I got to pay for the goddamn $36 million police department, $30 million fire department, all these. It's like, oh,
Fix the potholes.
screw
Make sure the roads
you,
look
man.
good.
Like, oh, you trying to make money with water? That's our freaking advantage. We have an advantage being the northwest corner of the state, and I think it's very good business.
Let's not do it.
And by the way, we're not robber barons. We're 15% cheaper than the city of Chicago, who is one of the biggest
There's a
distributors.
robber baron.
Yeah. If they weren't so high, we couldn't be that high. So,
Good
like,
point. And by the way,
so place your blame where it belongs, WMCD.
and look at Crown Point's, which is not even Chicago. Look at their per 1,000 gallons. It's like
Yeah.
$12.
Oh, no, yeah. We're
140
Hammond
or something.
residents
150.
pay, what, $2 for 1,000 gallons?
Yeah,
So,
not even.
yeah.
I don't think.
It's right around.
All I know is that
I
you
round.
increased it substantially, and it still was the lowest in the state.
Yeah,
So-
and by the way, it helps us tremendously pay our bills, which is very important in these days. Although in Washington D.C., they just print freaking money, which is I wish.
That's
Hammond-
nice.
We should have
we
Hammond
should do
currency,
that.
Joe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder what it would
Put
be.
your face on.
Like
it.
a-
I would be on at least one of the bills. I mean, you know,
Hammond
Must be
currency.
different
Maybe your
poses
dad.
for each dollar amount.
that would be weird. Me and Dad both had.
Maybe on
Yeah,
one bill.
He's got a Marina.
A
He doesn't
Hammond
need-
bill.
He's got a Marina. He doesn't need no dollar bills.
Yeah.
The
Who
Hammond
else?
dollars belong to me.
Thomas
No,
Hammond.
that could be taken
There's-
really
Yeah,
badly.
be
Like,
careful.
Eliminate that.
Yeah,
clip.
clip it.
Yeah, the Hammond.
Delete that clip.
Yep.
We're not
Tom
live,
walks
are
in
we?
with a DJ. Better have my money.
Yeah, right.
Better pay me what you owe me.
Speaking
Or
of,
Jesse.
our favorite.
Oh, we're going to
mayor.
get to her.
We're going
Yes.
to cover her again today.
Stay tuned for the latest
Yeah.
in the Tiffany Henyard files here on Lockpod.
The Tiffany Henyard files. We're literally like, I think we're like Fox 32 and WGN at this point. We're covering her.
They are. You know what I've noticed though? She's been starting to get national attraction.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like
It
a lot
needs-
of.
This bit needs its own like sound clip.
I think it's that Rihanna song.
Oh.
That'll get us pulled.
Hey, John, could you pull that?
Yeah.
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 There's no rules on podcasts, is there?
Well, we're on
play
Facebook
music.
We'll
Live.
find out.
Oh, Facebook.
That
But
is
if
where
I
we-
do, if I find like a cover or a live version, they won't get
Oh,
it.
there you go.
What's the name of that song?
Bitch,
Bitch.
better have my money.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear.
I'm gonna
I
work
wanted to
on
hear
it
Kevin
right
say
now.
it.
Kevin,
He sounds so
please say it.
Caucasian when he says
Bitch
it.
better have my money.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's perfect.
The articulation.
I did that.
and
I did.
sounds
I did
so
that especially
Caucasian.
white.
Like, yeah.
That was my over white.
Bitch better have my money. So intimidating.
Gosh, I don't. I hope I don't sound like that.
We will have an intro song by the time we get to that bit.
Good.
Beautiful.
Good. We need that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
did you listen to last episode?
I did.
What'd you think? Being the locomotive out of town.
I thought it was awesome, man. I'm not even bullshitting.
Thank you.
I really thought it was a great episode. And I tell you guys that a lot, and I'm full of shit most of the time. But this time I actually mean it. I thought it was a really good show. I thought that McCracken, the author, was great. In fact, I want to take that with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, McCracken.
That's your copy?
We already have a copy, and I'm going to read this. But I thought he was awesome. And then you guys, after, when you were going into the Tucker Carlson, it warmed my heart. It warms my heart to know that John is like seeing the world so clearly right now. That guy's a piece of shit, right? Tucker, the traitor.
I just disagree with his Russian clips.
Yeah.
but,
That's the kind of stuff, if we were at war, he would get killed for.
I was thinking to myself, like, could you imagine somebody going like to Nazi Germany and like, look at how look at the beautiful streets here in Berlin.
Right? Yeah, and
look at these great parades.
Look at
everyone saluting.
He's
Look
got
at
a great
look at that goose
mustache,
step.
right?
Yeah, look at that goose step on that SS. I mean, it's like,
I know.
It's just really,
sucks.
it's sickening. Yeah,
It's sickening.
Yeah,
It's sickening. And if you're dumb enough to idolize this man,
Putin.
No, I'm talking about Tucker.
Oh.
He's a piece of shit. If I ever see that guy in public, I'm going to call him a piece of shit right to his face.
I think remember he almost got accosted in Montana. Or he did.
I
right?
love that
Remember
day.
that.
I have that picture framed in
Livingston,
my
Montana.
where this big, tough, Montana native is in his face saying, "You're a piece of shit."
Yeah.
He was basically telling him, "You're a traitor. You're a."
It's exactly what you want to do to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Go-
Tucker was just sitting there like shrinking away. He's such a little weasel, man. That guy is a piece of shit, man. I cannot stand Tucker Carlson.
We should get him on the podcast.
He brings out rage in me.
Yeah.
Like
me
I
too.
want to just punch him. There's certain people you meet, you just want to.
And almost like
yeah.
he wants to be kind of part of the everyman, but like as John and I were talking about, like he doesn't even like he obviously has never been to Aldi.
Yeah.
Right, like you're like, okay, Tucker, this happens at every Aldi every day at every grocery cart.
Special escalators.
Look at this. You put in 10 rubles and you get it back at the end and you get your money back and but you have to leave the cart. I'm like,
And the
what
bread.
world are you?
bread
smelling
is-
the
oh
bread,
my
God,
the orgasmic bread.
Oh my bread.
John, didn't you say like, hey, we have pretty good bread?
Yeah, that was my problem with it. Like, I like Tucker, but those clips are like overtly like psyopish to me.
Yeah, it was
like why
weird.
is he doing it?
You
Like,
should've
what's
seen-
the reason?
You should have seen what Tucker did to that loaf when he got back to the hotel.
Yeah,
room.
he's like, I'm taking this loaf with me.
He's like, oh, this is.
Did
a
you
soft
see the one
loaf.
where he went to the Russian McDonald's? Did you see that clip?
No.
Oh my god.
Well, we should pull that.
I went to
We'll
a
do that
Chinese
next time.
McDonald's. I went to a Chinese McDonald's. It was in Beijing. I was with Tom Dabberton and a crew of people. And anybody that knows Tom Dabberton, Tom is 6'6", 6'7". I don't know,
8.
right? Okay.
9.
When we were in China, he was standing with me the whole time. He was chief of staff at the time, and everybody, instead of realizing he was my chief of staff, automatically assumed he was my bodyguard because he was literally the tallest person in China, right? So.
Unlike Tiffany Henyard, you don't have a security detail.
No, I don't have these two right here, left and righty. That's my security detail. I do in the Notre Dame Post.
Is there a lot of like pugilism going on in this already? He's punched his fist once.
Yeah, right.
He put his dukes up.
So
You're ready to fight today.
I'm in the
Good work,
Beijing
Kevin.
McDonald's with 600 people. I'm telling you, this is the most packed McDonald's I've ever been to in my life. It's Beijing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm standing in there, and Tom Dabberton's in there with me. And I just remember looking across 600 people and just seeing Tom Dabberton's head clearly
I'm with
standing
him.
above. Yeah, like he was like bigger than everybody in the whole restaurant. I was like,
Kind
Tom.
of like Snoop compared to like you
Yes,
and Ruth
that was
Bader
like
Ginsburg.
it. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg to Snoop. That's sort of the disparity we were talking about. And that's why Dabberton was the center on our basketball team.
That's interesting places that we've been to at McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beijing.
Where's your interesting McDonald's story?
I thought the best, well, let's see, Paris,
Whoa.
and I would say La Jolla. Because La Jolla, like, you don't expect to see a McDonald's back, like, kind of like just tucked into, like, a real fancy
Oh, really?
street. I guess that would be another one.
Jill, how about you?
Edinburgh.
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 Scotland. Right.
Busy. Super busy.
John, strangest McDonald's you've ever been to. Or not strangest,
our
but, like, most
business
unique.
manager's talking to me.
Of course
Yeah,
he is, right in the middle of the
show.
episode. John, strangest or most interesting McDonald's you've ever
I
been
can't
to?
recall. I can't think of one.
Hammond?
Hammond.
Just say
Yeah, you've never been to a McDonald's?
165th
Yes,
and
I've been to a McDonald's. but
Columbia.
Why is that one the strangest?
No, maybe I shouldn't have said
Was
strangest.
the ice
most
cream
interesting.
machine working? Because that
yeah,
would be strange.
Yeah, I think they called me a bitch there one time. Actually, now I think
Bitch, better get my money.
He said, bitch, give me my money. That's the name of the episode.
Hey, before I forget, I should mention because you did bring up McCracken Poston Jr.
Zenith Man.
And, yeah,
it's available on Amazon.
He posted something. I gave John the picture, and I think I don't know if John has that clip showing him as a bestseller already on Amazon.
Is everything all right, guys?
Steve thought we had a guest today. He's here.
Okay. well,
Okay, great.
Anyway, yeah.
The chaos.
Anybody want to say anything about that?
No.
Chaos behind the producer's studio. So anyway, there was a clip I sent to John. It's about McCracken and the book, and he's already a bestseller on Amazon,
That's
which
crazy.
I thought was really
It
cool.
doesn't surprise me, man. That story is amazing.
Having John on was really cool.
And that's a crazy ass story. I'm going to read the book. Though.
All
I'm
right,
looking forward to
maybe
it.
it'll be a movie someday.
Hey, we have a special giveaway, which is unbelievable.
All right.
Special giveaways on Lockpod. It's we've done 11 seasons. This is the first one.
Well,
So
don't forget about the BP card, but that was given.
oh my goodness, we do have the
Yeah, we
BP
can't
Are
card.
we actually going to give this away?
I think actually this is a good lead in. I think Pete Vuletek, a
Yeah.
super fan of the show, has a picture. Look at that. We put it up. Thanks for the gas card. He's talking to us.
Yeah,
So Lockpod.
that was for winning.
How
the
much
Tom
was the gas
versus
card
Kevin.
for? Like
I think
$11.50.
1 gallon's worth.
It was $20, and then Phil had to put in $8.50.
Yes.
So Pete got the balance $11.50 on the gas card.
Thanks for the photo, Pete. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening too, Pete. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Super fan, Lockpod from season 1, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good to see Pete.
He's in
and,
chat.
Witty Pete Vuletich.
and it's good to see him getting $11.50 for free. You know, that's what we do for you. After
He-
11 seasons, you get $11.50. So listen
Is
to
it
Lockpod.
Vuletich?
Oh, I don't know.
Vuletic?
Vuletic.
Vuletic?
Vuletic.
Pete, can we get the
Vuletic?
Phonetic.
phonetic
Yeah.
written out in chat, please?
All right, so let's get back to our special giveaway.
Yes.
This is only the second special giveaway in 11 seasons. All right. Today we're giving away 2 free VIP passes to the Fred Show's Leap Day party to be held this Thursday night at 6 p.m. at Replay in Lincoln Park, Illinois. All right.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, Scars, Lincoln Park, Illinois. Yeah. Passes include entry and free food from the Clark Street Dogs. And to win, you need to be the first person to answer the following question. All right. So again,
Oh, we're giving a question. This is exciting.
Wait,
Right.
how are they? Is it like in the chat?
Through chat.
answer?
through chat.
Okay.
So sorry if
no,
you're streaming.
no cheating. You can't
If
look
you're
on.
streaming, sorry, and it's the first person, so you better be. But
No Googling.
Again-
No Google answer.
2 free VIP passes to the Fred Show's Leap Day party to be held Thursday night, which is 2 days from now,
Which
6
is Leap
p.m.
Day.
at Replay in Lincoln Park. All right. So the passes include free food and Clark Street Dogs. To win, be the first person to answer this question.
Whoa.
Kevin,
Oh, all right. The question
you
is.
have a much more official voice. You have that family background.
The question is, leap year was first introduced in the year 46 BC by whom?
Fred Leap.
That's right. Could be.
No.
Somebody named Leap. We'll wait for chat to respond, and first person gets the ticket. Wow, I love that game show music, John. Thank you. And then when chat responds, we'll find out who wins, and we'll give you the tickets.
Leap years were first introduced
Steve will be in touch with you.
in the year 46 BC.
Interesting.
By whom?
By whom?
Interesting.
Yep.
It
By
wasn't
the way,
Jesus
speaking
Christ.
of Lockpod giveaways, so there's a couple things. One, Phil screwed over Laura and never gave her the gift card. That was one.
That's
Right?
controversial.
Yep. We just gave out the gas card. We gave the cooler to Mayor
yeah.
Joe.
We do give stuff
right?
away. What am I
Yeah.
talking about?
Someone said the Pope. Is that correct?
No.
Actually,
Nope.
the
Keep
Pope.
guessing.
Actually, there was a Pope involvement, but that's not the right answer according to Lockpod.
Key.
But there was Pope involvement.
And
It was
Pete
like
says Vuletic. So Vuletic. So good job, Tom, on the pronunciation.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete.
Wow. People
Nobody-
are not using Google.
No, they're not.
Okay, good. Use Google. we got stuff to
I'll
do.
jump in when
John
we
will
get the
jump
right
in when we get the right answer.
Keep
Thank you,
at it.
John.
By the way.
You know, I was listening to your last show
Yes.
live.
Live.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was in Park City, Utah.
Beautiful.
With my Navy buddies.
Jana was just there. She loved
Oh, yeah?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was 3 days of blue skies.
How was the weather? Because we've
Perfect.
been warm here. Was it
3
good?
days of blue. It was warm. We were skiing. I was skiing the last day with no like warm coat.
No
and
kidding.
No gloves.
Wow.
And look at my face. It's totally
Yep.
suntan. I mean, I was just getting.
With your Navy pals.
Yeah. We do it once a year. We get together, and I was out there with 3 of my buds. We usually have a bigger group, but this year, and we got a little place that was walkable to the slope.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was nice. Walkable. It was
so
uphill. Like you could ski almost all the way back to our place, but you had to walk up the hill to get there. It was
I've never been to Park City. So how far from the airport? Like Salt Lake you fly to? Or
yeah, Salt Lake. That's why I love skiing in Utah. You fly to Salt Lake, and it's a half hour to all the resorts. Literally a half hour.
And is Park City just a resort, or is it also like the town?
It's a city. Yeah, it's a city there. It was a mining city. Obviously, that's what all of them are. And now it's turned into a ski resort. It's fabulous. I'm not even kidding. It's as big as Park City is, and Park City is one of the biggest resorts I've ever skied at. And as big as Park City is, it's also connected to the canyons, which is a resort that's part of Park City. But you have the Park City side, and then you have the canyons, right? You take the gondola to get to the canyons. Now, Park City, like I said, is one of the biggest resorts I've ever skied at. The canyons is 3 times bigger than that.
Whoa.
3 times bigger than the biggest resort. So, like, when you add the two together, you could go for 2 weeks and not see the same thing twice. It's unreal. You get back there and just, like, you can get lost. I did get lost.
Yeah.
I got lost. I was by myself on the last day, and I got lost. It cost me like
That's never
45
fun.
minutes of extra
That's
skiing.
exhausting.
Oh, my God. I turned around at the wrong place, and I ended up in the same place I started from, and I was tired already, and I was a long way from home. And skiing for like a half hour, and then you end up right back in the same place.
No
I'm
fun.
like, oh, man.
Especially at the end of the day.
I'm going to really watch the maps on the way home now instead of just like winging it like I was doing it.
So Utah. Funny little known fact about Tom in Utah.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
There you go.
So we have a decision to make.
Okay.
Do we give this giveaway to the person who said Google says Julius Caesar, or the
Oh.
person who just said Julius Caesar?
That's up to our business manager.
Steve?
Let me break the tie. I think you got to go with the guy, the person that said Julius Caesar, not Google says Julius Caesar. All right. And I don't know who these people are. I don't look at the chat boards. So
Yeah.
I think that's an independent verification.
All right. So then, congratulations, Rebecca Marie Clay.
Rebecca, you are the winner of Fred Show Stuff.
And who's to say she didn't just say Julius Caesar after the person said Google says Julius
true.
Caesar? Would it be easy to type it in after somebody's like,
Yeah, don't use Google. They're like, well, Google says this.
and then the next person says Julius Caesar?
It sounds to me like when you say Google says this, you're arguing with us. You're not answering it. The person
True.
that just said, if you're like, Google says this, it's like an argument. It's not an answer. An answer is just
Well, I think
two
it's
words.
like Google says Julius Caesar. So that person was kind of saying, like, here's what Google says.
By the way, Jill,
But I
the
could type
person
that
that
in
said
the
the
next
Pope,
person.
there was like Pope something the 12th that had a lot to do with this. They did heavy
Oh.
math. They were required heavy math, and they said there was like a mere seconds that we were off previously, and if they didn't do this adjustment every 4 years,
We'd be off like decades right now.
we'd be off like you'd be celebrating Christmas in like summertime.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like it was a good thing that Pope
Thank
was
you.
involved.
Popes back then were always involved in shit they didn't need to be
That's
involved
true.
Yeah, set
That
the
is
calendar
true.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're on the Gregorian calendar, and
Hey, let me
we
ask
don't
Steve
have
a
to worry.
question
We
since he's
get
in there.
leap day now.
Did you guys? I listened to the last shows, and I don't remember anybody talking about the Fred show appearance. Fred appeared on our show, and
He's,
Steve lined this up. When's that show going to appear?
That's going to be on March 1st.
That would be Friday, Steve.
Yeah, Friday, March 1st. The live interview is going to be here on Lockpod. We couldn't do it the day of because we couldn't do a live interview with him just because he's on the air. Yeah,
He's a competitor. We're a competitor.
When it got when it was posted on it must have been posted on Facebook or social media or something, I got a text asking if somebody could come here and meet them because they're a huge fan. I was like, that's going to be tough to do.
Yeah, but
It's in the
a good
can
interview.
already.
We asked him questions that I'm not sure he's been asked before.
It's a nice little in-depth interview. Steve
It
thought
is.
it was bad, but we'll we're
He
gonna,
did? You thought it was
That's
bad?
a good preview. Tune
Yeah.
in Friday for a real
Yeah,
shitty interview.
Yeah, it's a shitty interview. Tune in. Even our business manager hates it. It's going to be riveting. You didn't like it?
I had questions written down for you guys. There were questions like that were kind of funny and good.
Did
funny
you look
answers
at those
on them.
questions?
And, yeah, I don't know.
Did I go off there?
Who knows? But
John, we got some
No.
audio.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
All
We're
right.
good.
Keep going.
We're good.
You
Am I
can hear
having a
me, right?
stroke? I can only hear in my right ear.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
I'll work
so.
on it.
John
All right,
will be
no problem.
working on it.
Sure.
So anyway, tune in Friday for the Fred Show interview, which is mediocre.
I thought it was good, though, and Steve was in that interview. And how do you know him?
so we met through doing PIO stuff at the police department. We just met up that way and
Wish I knew what PIO
slowly
stuff
became
was.
friends.
Public information officer.
information.
Oh, look at
officer.
you.
Dude, I'm
You're an acronym. I pride myself on acronyms.
I am too. Like the other day, Jason was telling me an acronym. My buddy Jason, Navy buddy, he said some acronym rando,
I love trying to figure
and
them
I like
out.
figured it out like
Yeah.
that. He's like, "How did you know that?"
It's
it
like
was
a
something in
challenge.
Utah, and I like figured it out, and I'm like, I don't know, Navy man. I'm just
Man,
good. I'm good
that's
at acronyms.
good. I bet, right? Military's all
Dude,
acronyms.
everything's acronyms in the
Interesting.
military. So PIO, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we met that way, and we just became friends, and so I asked him, and not knowing that he would be able to, I didn't know what the contract is or anything.
right.
with the radio station, but he said yes. So
That was
yeah.
awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if you listen to Fred on 103.5 in Chicago, he'll be on Friday.
On
You
Lockpod.
have to take a break from his show to listen to the interview here, but it's a good interview. It's a lot of fun. He was a really interesting guy, and
He is.
it was really great that Steve was able to line it up for us.
It was great. It was great. We've got a lot of guests coming up. You had the author the last show.
Steve's keeping us busy.
I'm working on Mayor Dermody from LaPorte, from the
Ooh,
city of LaPorte.
There's a great article, a story that we're gonna talk about when we come back from. And this is kind of cool too because one of the things that we love about Lockpod is we have a mayor on here that happens to be a 20-year veteran mayor.
Yeah.
Not 20-year-old. And
I look like
and it's really I mean this is that you're able to give great mayoral perspective to mayoral issues. And so this one that Mayor Dermody in LaPorte's going through, I think I'm looking forward to what you have to say about it.
Yeah, Mayor Dermody, he's a great mayor. He's a Republican. The only reason I say that, mayors, we don't really talk about party, but he's a friend of mine. I really respect this guy a lot. Mayor Dermody was a state rep. He was a fair state rep. Then he became mayor of the city of LaPorte. He's in his second term now. I want to get this guy as a guest because he's just I think you'll see he's just a real laid back, cool guy, down to earth.
Yeah, moderate.
And he's got a situation with this police department that's been on the front page of our papers that I want to talk about on Lockpod because when I read it, I was incensed.
Your blood pressure went up. All right,
I was
let's
like,
do some ads and come back and do it.
So we'll give you a little teaser. And then
I like that.
third segment,
Oh,
the reason you're going to want to stick around, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, super mayor.
keeps giving.
The gift that keeps giving. She's going to start a podcast and compete with us.
We're going to talk about that.
A podcast?
We're gonna talk
Where did
about
she
it.
get this idea?
I wonder.
Maybe it's because we're kicking her ass on this podcast. Now all of a sudden she
now
gets
she's
the
gonna-
idea.
Get ready. She's going to come. Maybe she's going to come after us on hers. Nah,
she's
she
like-
wouldn't waste her time on us.
I wonder who's paying for it.
Jill,
We're going to find out.
those are great questions. We're going to talk about this. That's one thing we know about. We've been running a podcast
And
for
speaking
a
of
few
guests,
years here.
Steve has some guests lined up for us from Dalton that we're going to work on next week.
So we got some stuff to talk about. So stick with us, even through these ads. So we'll be back in a couple seconds.
Yeah, a couple things real quick. Can you guys hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, how does the winner get their tickets? Rebecca,
that's
Marie,
Steve.
These are
Clay.
questions you guys can work through.
Steve will work on that.
I have Rebecca send me her email.
So, Rebecca, can you message the podcast your email address?
Awesome.
All
Thank
right,
you.
there we go.
Thanks, Rebecca. Congratulations on the big victory. So
And sorry to the person who wasn't chosen.
Powering Indiana, Lake County. IBEW Local 697 and NECA proudly bring you Powering Indiana, Lake County. With over a century of experience, they've been safely wiring the region. From powering corporations along the lakefront to lighting up homes across Lake County, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your trusted source for electrical professionals. Join them as they continue to light the way for Northwest Indiana. Visit Powering Indiana, Lake County at poweringindiana.org.
Calumet Brewing. It's time to experience Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV, the perfect way to start your 2024 and keep those resolutions in check. It doesn't matter if you're kicking back after a workout, hitting a pickup game at the park, or heading out to a day on the slopes. Be sure to enjoy a superior light beer that's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra is brewed to be a complement to your healthy lifestyle. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
For decades, the Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Their wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance, have helped over 1,000 individuals and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store. Indulge in the finest Mexican products crafted with local expertise and savor the taste of authenticity. Discover the flavors of Tortillas Nuevo Leon today.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
MCR Partners. Are you seeking expertise in economic development, finance, and planning? Look no further than MCR Partners, your go-to professionals for comprehensive solutions. Their dedicated team is ready to assess your opportunities and ensure the successful completion of your projects. Discover the difference MCR Partners can make in navigating the intricacies of economic development. Stay informed and connected by visiting our website at mcrpartnersllc.com. For personalized assistance, reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Thanks to our sponsors, especially, all of our sponsors. And, of course, we can't forget to mention our NECA IBEW Power in Indiana Lake County Studios, which we're bringing you Season 11 from. I was going to ask you something, because during ads, I had to look under the table. Yeah. And I noticed that you were wearing shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, is he wearing shorts?
I'm in full summer mode, Kevin.
I am not.
It's February 7th.
Almost leap. Yeah, 27th. That's right.
Tomorrow, day after tomorrow's leap day. And it's going to be 70-something degrees in Chicago.
Yeah.
Did you drive here with your window down this morning?
I did.
It's so funny. I put my window down yesterday, and I thought to myself, it's so weird to put your window down because
it's amazing.
For months, no window.
I love global warming.
Down.
That's how I dried my hair this morning.
Right. I'm on the record.
I noticed it looked a little windblown.
It is. It definitely is.
Hey, John, I think that's the title of this.
I think that's the title.
I do. I mean, honestly, I think global warming is going to make Hammond, Indiana, like the Miami in 2050.
Wow.
In 2050.
So like Wolf Lake will
in
be
2050.
Like,
yeah.
And like
in 2050, people are going to be moving to Hammond for the weather.
Get your slip now at the Hammond Marina and hold on to it for 20 years.
Dude, in 2050, you're not going to want to be Phoenix and Texas. That's going to be baked out. No water. Wherever you want to be. You're going to want to be in Hammond. Why? Because I got a shitload of water, and I'm going to robber baron it to everybody.
That's right. Who knows what Tom will charge you in 2050.
Oh, my God. We'll be spending so much money about
at
water
age 85.
But seriously, I think by 2050, we're going to have very mild winters and, like, you know,
I already feel like
summers.
in my lifetime, the winter has shifted.
It has.
It's shifted to later, like
for sure.
Like it's later than it used to start. Like maybe in my mind, I always, as a kid, like November was freezing and snowing, and then it also ends later. But like this year's a little different.
Leap year.
Yeah, but
leap year is going to adjust everything.
But like that's true. But I always think like May's really cold now, and I always thought of May as like
May's
warmer month.
Freezing. Freaking June is cold still.
Yeah, it doesn't really hit
like
till
it used to.
No,
it doesn't. I know. That's why by 2050 we're going to be in the most the temperate climate in America. People are going to be moving to Chicago and the Midwest because of the water and the great weather.
And I think people.
It sounds silly, but I mean, if we continue the way we are, it's very sad what's happening. I don't think it's very good for the world, but for Hammond and Chicago, I think
we might be at a good spot.
I think it's going to be huge for us.
And I think that we talked about this on the
I'm going to get in
before.
trouble for this.
Oh, 100%. Zach's texting you right now.
He's like, I'm not even his campaign manager anymore, but I'm worried about this guy.
I think that we talked about this on the air before, and that is that like some places are being overpopulated. Vegas, Phoenix area, like
all these places in 2050, nobody's gonna live there anymore.
I can't remember what season
You're not
we
gonna
did
have
it
water,
on, but they couldn't get water. Remember, like they wouldn't let them hook up to the water system. Remember that?
That's
time?
a huge issue.
Yeah,
there's a huge lawsuit, and the federal government's involved trying to work out the Colorado River and how much water could go to each state. Like in the future, and it's dieting everybody, and each of those diets, what's going to make is the water is going to be that much more expensive for if you live in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, people weren't designed to live in the desert.
No,
we've made it, but there's got to be some critical mass.
Yeah, it's called Death Valley for a reason. It's like I want to live in.
Where
Death
do you live
Valley.
now, Death Valley?
What happened? My house sucks. Like I can't get any water.
It's really hot here.
It's like you live in fucking Death Valley. People die there, right?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
that's why it's called.
So anyway, global warming is going to be huge for the Midwest.
Let's talk about mayor issues.
Yeah, let's talk about mayor issues. There's a situation going on and Steve, I don't know if you remember this story. It was about a week old. But there's a situation in the city of LaPorte, which is a neighbor of ours. It's a couple of counties over, but everybody's where we live, we're all close. And Mayor Tom Derby is Republican mayor of LaPorte. He's been mayor now for 5 years. He's in his fifth year. He's done one term and he's into his second term. Had a longtime police chief, 30-year police chief for the city of LaPorte. 30-year police chief is unprecedented. That's multiple administrations, and they keep the same police chief. Have you ever heard of that before, Steve? No, that's unprecedented. Yeah. Like, you don't see mayors for 30 years, much less a police chief who works for the mayor. So that in itself is remarkable. So city of LaPorte has a police chief for 30 years. He's retiring. Now, obviously, whoever the next police chief is going to be it's a big deal in LaPorte because they've only had one for 3 decades. There's like kids have grown up their entire lives and they've had the same police chief, right?
Good point.
So The mayor, obviously, you're appointing, legally, Kevin.
Yeah, talk about this in Indiana, Tom. About
you talk about it. You're a municipal lawyer, so help me out
so
here.
yeah, I mean, in Indiana, there are certain positions that the mayor gets to appoint rather than, let's say,
Legally, right?
Yeah, that legally gets to appoint. Like,
They
for
work
example, you're
at the pleasure of the mayor.
That's correct. Police chief's one of them. Fire chief's another one. In fact, in the police department, you have the ability to appoint all the way down to captains, which is the police chief, the assistant chief, and then there's the third rank of captain.
Yeah, and there's one police chief, there's one assistant police chief, and how many? 5 or 6 captains? 6 captains in Hammond PD. Now that varies, and it varies. There's some departments like LaPorte, for instance, is probably not big enough for them to have the top 3. So the mayor probably gets to appoint the chief, and the assistant chief probably doesn't get to appoint the captains. That's probably done through merit or however they do it in LaPorte.
Yep.
So you're talking about top 2 ranks in LaPorte. You agree with that, right?
Yes.
Because it's a smaller department. The bigger departments like Hammond, you get more appointments. Smaller departments.
Yeah, I mean, just like in your executive departments throughout the city, Mayor, you get to appoint your department heads.
Right.
Right? Because they, at the end of the day, they are policy-making positions, and they kind of have the point of that is that you want policy-making positions to follow what your lead and your administration's lead is.
So Mayor Dermody of LaPorte appoints his police chief.
Sounds reasonable.
And this police chief is not from the ranks of LaPorte PD.
Okay.
Which, I've been mayor. I've had 3 police chiefs. All 3 have come from Hammond PD ranks.
But let me ask you, if you wanted to, do you believe you could appoint someone from the Michigan City Police Department?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It would be controversial.
Sure, whether it's accepted or not. But I guess do you feel
Steve,
legally you
grab a
could?
microphone, would you, Steve? Steve's a Hammond police officer. As you all know, he's our business manager. It's pretty great that he walked in today because we have this story.
PD stuff.
If I did something like that, if I appointed a police chief, first off, Andy'd be pissed. So this is a hypothetical, Andy. I just want to make
Andy
this clear,
retires.
right?
Andy retires.
Jeff would be pissed then too. This is a hypothetical, Andy and Jeff. We're just talking here. But if I appointed a police officer from Michigan City and brought him in to run the Hammond Police Department, that would be controversial with the men and women that work for our department, right?
Yes. Well, especially in the Midwest. See, the Midwest is like that. Midwest, we like almost every police department promotes from within.
But not all, right,
different,
Steve? Yeah.
Not all, but it's different from the universities are different. The universities a lot of times because they don't have the manpower, and I use that term loosely, obviously, but to choose from, right? So, but the East Coast and the West Coast, they almost exclusively hire from
without.
So there are arguments on both sides, but the Midwest.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that because I do notice that. I've noticed it though that you see a lot of people from California putting in for jobs in Indiana. A lot of people from the East Coast putting in for jobs. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, but they won't get it in the Midwest.
It's just more of a Midwest thing to promote from within.
Right.
But it's not exclusive. In other words, to the country, a lot of departments do promote from outside the department. Just Midwest seems to do it that way. Okay, interesting.
But it's not required legally.
No, that's what I was going to say. So if you wanted to, whether it's controversial or not, if you felt this man or woman was the best person for the police chief job, you have the legal ability to do so.
Right.
Okay.
So Mayor Dermody has the legal ability to appoint anybody police chief in LaPorte, and he picks a person that spent most of his career in LaPorte County. All right. And somebody that was a sworn LaPorte police officer for a bit. I think it was like about 5 or 6 years. And then for about the next 20-something years, he was a police officer in corrections, which is more like jail supervisor kind of position. Police officer still.
And at the and he was at the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department.
I mean, we have officers that are assigned to the jail, the Hammond City Jail, that houses federal prisoners, right?
Yes.
And they're still police officers.
Yes, they are.
And if I wanted to make, Paul is the captain in charge of the jail.
Correct.
If I wanted to make Paul the chief of police, he has all the credentials and qualifications to be the chief of police. True?
Yes.
Even though he's in corrections.
Yeah. It's just an assignment to him.
Right. It's an assignment, and he's great at it. That's why he's there.
Correct.
Okay. So, this guy is a police officer.
30 years in law enforcement. He retired in 2019.
So, it retired from corrections, but still officer.
LaPorte County Sheriff's Department.
Right, which is police.
Yeah.
I mean, you could arrest people.
Oh,
You're required under Indiana law, licensed, everything.
And,
right?
and remember, in most counties in the state of Indiana, the Sheriff's Department is very important because, there are, I would say, dozens of counties that do not even have do not even have a city or a town.
Right.
So the Sheriff's Department is the law enforcement in the county.
Okay, so Mayor Dermody appoints this chief Bell, I guess, Buell. Buell. Okay, Buell.
Probably Bueller.
Bueller. You never heard
Close.
that before.
Buell.
Okay, so Buell.
Oh, that's disrespectful. Of course I've heard of that.
Yeah, right. Mayor Buell, Mayor Dermody appoints Chief Buell to the position, and it lands with a thud, which is expected. Like Steve said, if I did something like that in Hammond, it would not land well.
Well, the thing I don't know about, just trying to read this, I saw the headline last week, but so if you retire, you have to do a certain thing to keep your police officer status. So if he retired in 2019, you're saying he's going to have to keep his police status, so he has to attend courses and go through regular firearms training. He has to do certain things in order, and I think he actually has to be hired by a police department in that time to keep his status. He can't just always be a police officer by doing these things. He has to fill these things, and he has to be employed. So maybe that's their argument, is
But
he
that-
hasn't been employed.
Doesn't that
Never
assume that you
retire?
but doesn't that assume? Sorry, Jill.
So that sounds like you can never retire.
But
then.
doesn't that assume that you have
Hold
to be a
it.
police officer to be a chief? Do you have to be a police
Yeah.
officer to be the chief?
Yeah,
Yes.
under
I don't know
Indiana
that.
law.
And that's the thing.
I don't think they're making a statutory argument against him, though.
I thought they were making an ordinance argument.
It's an
against
ordinance
him.
argument. If he didn't require, I'm going to assume Chief Buell legally qualifies under Indiana code, okay? Because if he didn't, they would be making that argument, right, Kevin?
Yeah, you would think so.
They're arguing ordinance, which is local. Which ordinance is something that applies only in LaPorte. That's the difference between ordinance and statute. Statute applies to the entire state, okay? I think if he wasn't qualified statutorily, we wouldn't even be reading this story. He would have never been appointed.
Yeah, so Indiana Code states as follows. This section applies to the appointment of a police chief or deputy police chief in all cities. An applicant must meet the following requirements. 1, have 5 years of service as A, a police officer with a full-time paid police department or agency, or B, a federal enforcement officer with a full-time paid federal law enforcement agency, be a citizen of the U.S., be a high school graduate or equivalent, be at least 21 years of age, be free of mental illness. That's tough. 6, be physically fit. 7, and then have successfully completed, and it says like the law enforcement academy. So there you go. So I think they're focusing on 5 years of service. I don't know why that would be.
Okay.
It seems like he meets it.
But this article is mostly focusing on the ordinance for some reason.
Yeah.
The
agreed.
ordinance, which says basically, let me grab this real quick
Yep.
here. Could somebody talk real quick while I look for this?
Yeah. So the local code that was cited by the FOP is kind of like in controversy. It has to do with whether or not, number one, it's in effect. Mayor Dermody says, number one, it's not even in effect and hasn't been.
It was superseded by state law.
Exactly.
Right.
Is what his argument is.
The thing that really got my goat about this. So obviously the FOP has the right to have a difference of opinion with the mayor. The FOP has the right to come out and say, we don't believe this chief is the best pick. I get all that, right? But what comes out is the FOP, or I don't think anybody put their name to this, okay?
That's a problem.
They sent a letter out to all the residents of LaPorte that basically said they're not going to support this chief. Members of FOP said they will not recognize the recent appointment of Richard Buell as their police chief. The LaPorte FOP claims that Buell's current civilian status runs contrary to city code regarding the qualifications of the police chief in LaPorte, and they call on Mayor Tom Dermody to correct the perceived wrong and replace Buell with one who has served 5 years within the ranks, meaning 5 years in the LaPorte Police Department. In the meantime, this is a statement from the FOP. We recognize Assistant Chief Matthew Dragmeister as a legitimate officer who has earned his appointment as Assistant Chief, and we shall operate under his leadership until the time a new chief is appointed, the FOP wrote in a letter addressed to the citizens of LaPorte. Now that's where I was like, holy shit, this is an amazing story. Steve, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, it just doesn't. Like I said, it just doesn't happen around here. It's always from within. And it does say that there were like 5 finalists too, which makes it like, cause I could see bringing someone in if it's a department of 8 people and everybody there is all a rookie with like a couple years experience, or they don't have the experience, and this guy comes in and he's got 30 years experience, maybe making that appointment, say he has the leadership to prove and whatever else. But I think you do have to look within your ranks first and see if there's a qualified.
And I imagine the mayor
I
did.
don't even know if you do.
You don't have to legally do
don't have
anything.
to.
I'm talking legally.
Right. Legally, you don't have to do anything. You could
You can meet the state statute.
Right. As long as they meet the state statute, you can appoint anybody, right?
Yeah, and the FOP is trying to make this argument that the intent of the local ordinance was to limit the office of the chief of police to a certified police officer within the authority with the authority to enforce the law and make arrests, meaning that because Mr. Buell is neither of these things, a non-sworn citizen appointee, he can't meet those local requirements.
The great thing about local ordinances is they could be changed.
They can be
And
superseded.
they were superseded. That's the argument of the mayor in this case, is that ordinance was superseded by state law. But even if that's not true, okay, the mayor, I'd imagine, is going to sign an ordinance if it passes the council. And I think a good mayor like Tom probably has support on the city council where they could revisit this issue and change it. And if that's the case, they're like, hey, maybe at the time this ordinance was passed, it was a lot easier to find police officers and police chiefs. Right, Steve?
Right.
Maybe now things are different. They are definitely different with police officers. So maybe we should revisit this issue to not limit our chief to, one of only 50 police officers.
I guess it reminds me of the time where you got sued over whether or not a local ordinance, because it was on the books, somehow means that, you're violating state law. And you just said, look, I'm not, just because it's on the books doesn't mean I have to repeal it. You're like, it's there, whatever. We have this new state law that we're going to follow.
It superseded it.
Go F yourself.
Yeah.
And you won.
Right. And we won that case. I've definitely thought of that case.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
When I
similar,
read
right?
this
Just
article.
because
It's
this
definitely
old
similar.
ordinance is on the books doesn't mean that if there's a new statute that tends to contradict or supersede
That ordinance.
your local ordinance, the state statute's going to apply.
All right. I know that's
So-
pretty deep in the
Sorry.
woods kind of stuff. But so basically, Kevin, I don't know. Jill, what do you think of this? You haven't really.
So are they like refusing to work, or
That's-
Good question. I don't think they can do that. I mean,
Dude.
police can't
mean,
strike,
they're-
right,
No.
Steve? Yeah.
You
No
cannot.
blue.
Cannot strike.
You cannot strike as a police officer, right, Steve?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's against the law.
Yeah, we call it kind of the blue flu type of thing.
Right, which
blue
happens, which
flu.
unfortunately happens where suddenly a bunch of police officers don't show up for work because they're
Get
sick.
sick.
Because they're sick.
John showed up here when he was sick. Yeah. I mean, he didn't
That's right.
shy away from that. No lockpod flu.
As a mayor, if I read that Hammond FOP did something like that, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind because that's just
so
you're
what kind of
scaring the public.
repercussions do you have then? Like if they can't strike.
But you
Can't and you guys you couldn't fire them because you're
Why
under
not?
contract, correct?
I
Or
would
no?
definitely give it a shot. If an officer put their name to that, I would give it a shot.
Or how about
That-
this?
But hold on. I mean, seriously, if there was a police officer that said, I'm not going to recognize Chief
Well,
Andy
that's what I was
Short,
going to get at. So if, let's say, Chief Short issues orders, and you're like, I'm listening to Jeff Long. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd rather listen to
I don't
Andy Short,
recognize.
but
no, if you were like, I'm a
Me
police
too.
officer in the Hammond Police Department, I don't recognize you, Chief Short, as the chief. I recognize Assistant Chief Long instead. I would fire that officer. Because the police departments are run like a military organization. And one of the things about a military organization is you have to respect rank.
And
you
chain
don't
of
have
command,
a choice.
right?
If you're lower in the chain of command and you refuse to do an order, you don't belong in the police department. Period. Like, Jill, I
a
would
lawful order.
if that officer said that in Hammond and put their name to it, I would have major repercussions because you cannot put that fear in the public. Like, hey, suddenly there's disorder in and we're not going to do our jobs.
We're not following the orders of the chief.
So by the FOP putting that statement out, aren't they making a blanket statement for all of their FOP members that they
Then
not?
you're going to fire everybody?
That's what I'm asking.
Well,
Like,
it's interesting that nobody was brave enough to put their name on it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like says Steve Kellogg of the Hammond FOP, right? I'd be like, hey, Steve, come to my office. Let's talk, right?
go F yourself.
Steve, I mean, do you agree, like, as chain of command, this is completely unacceptable situation?
Yep. Yeah, chain of command is whoever is in charge. That's who you listen to. You don't always have to agree with them, of course, and hopefully they are, an open mind to have that discussion with you if you disagree. But it doesn't matter. Ultimately, they make the decisions. That's who you listen to.
And that's drilled into you in the police academy, and
Since day one, yes, absolutely.
because that's how it was in the military. Obviously, I'm not a police officer, but in the military, if I had a chief, well, I probably had a couple I didn't agree with, and I was a smart ass to him, and that's why I wasn't very good in the military. And that's why I got out. But like, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
It's against the rules. Like, there's no reason
Well,
to have a police department in rank if you're going to say no.
And that's what I was going to say. So, like, if all of a sudden police officers started disobeying direct orders from the chief, they can be disciplined, and there's a process for that in LaPorte, just like there is in Hammond, just like there is in Indianapolis, and every other city and town in Indiana. And I think they'd be subject to that if they disobey direct orders
So there was
from
an
the duly appointed chief. Sorry.
There's a thing about here in chat too. This Dominic Martin he says the LaPorte mayor said he had received feedback from lots of other officers within the department that the internal candidates had problems. So,
But I mean, I
I'm
guess
not sure what that means.
I mean, I guess, Steve, my point would be, it doesn't matter. If
Agree.
they had problems,
Agree.
didn't have problems, they were the
Agree.
5-star candidate.
Right.
The mayor gets to decide who the chief is.
You know
It's
what?
not like it's...
What if the mayor feels, and I don't know much about the LaPorte PD, okay?
Sure.
But what if the mayor feels that there's a lot of cronyism and a lot of like backstabbing. Maybe the morale's bad because it's been a 30-year dynasty basically that was held there, and the mayor just wants an outsider to come in and just like knock some heads around and clean up the closets, and maybe that's what he's trying to do. And you know, the mayor's going to be mayor for 3.5 more years for sure because he was elected to a 4-year term. Maybe he wants to bring this guy in for a year, shake things up, and then bring in another chief. Who knows? He's the mayor. He can do whatever he wants.
And by the way,
actually, you did that, Tom.
I agree. So, like, maybe that's what Mayor Tom's doing in LaPorte. Maybe Mayor Tom wants to freaking shake up the department because it sounds like a shitty department. If they're talking shit publicly saying we're not going to do our jobs, that sounds like the kind of department that needs an outsider.
Couple things. One, as mayor, Tom, how important is your police department in fighting crime?
It's the most important department you have as a mayor.
Okay.
The police department. No doubt about it. No offense to any other department, because like I was saying the other day, without the street department cleaning the streets, the police department can't do their jobs because they're going to be spinning out and getting in wrecks. Like, we all work together as a team. But obviously the police department is out there fighting the bad guys directly.
And the police and like crime and policing and things like that tend to be election year issues.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to allow the mayor to decide who the police chief is, because that's going to be who, right? And so at the end of the day, if the citizens of LaPorte don't like Chief Buell and they think that was a bad decision, guess what? You have a ballot box in 4 years.
That's right.
That you can decide that Mayor Dermody made a terrible decision and he shouldn't have named Chief Buell as the police chief. But guess what? He gets to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why, because there's remedies for that decision at the ballot box.
And as a police officer in LaPorte, you got to do your damn job and shut the fuck up. And you have no choice. So shut the fuck up and go do your job. And if you're going to come out and say, I'm not going to follow the new chief's orders, bye-bye. You're not going to be a police officer in LaPorte anymore. That's
or run for mayor.
And by the way, Mayor Dermody, it's going to be a follow-up to this story, a response to this article. Because when I read this article, obviously I care about Tom. Tom's a great guy, okay? And he's a smart mayor, and he's an honest guy, and he's a great person. And when I read this, I'm like, holy shit. I've never seen a police department declare war on their mayor like that. That's unbelievable to me. It's like, that sounds like a department that needs a shakeup. And I think Mayor Tom, from looking at it the outside, I think he's right on. Bring in an outsider, shake this place up.
I would love to hear his rationale, and maybe at some point we'll get that.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm going to work on it. Okay.
Awesome. Interesting story.
Wow.
Thanks for the input, Steve.
What do you think, Joe? Your brother's a Hammond police officer. Does that shock you, this story?
Like, for a whole department to do that is kind of insane.
Well, I tell you, the FOP is taking a position like it is the whole department, but maybe it's not. And if it's not, the FOP elects their president also. And if this guy's getting them into a fight they shouldn't have been involved in, there's repercussions for the FOP president as well.
That sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. That does sound familiar, funny enough.
I will never tell your brother to shut up and do his job. Have you ever seen this guy?
Yeah.
I would not say.
Yeah, no shit, by the way. I wouldn't either. I'm real brave on LockPod. Real brave on LockPod.
He is one guy that is I would not want to be arrested by him.
I'll be honest. Most of the officers.
Yeah, I agree. We also have public information officers like Steve.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Although I would not want to. Have you ever seen Steve? Steve's a big guy too. I wouldn't want Steve to arrest me.
Steve would fuck you up.
I agree.
Yeah. He'd fuck all of us up.
I don't want.
If we all collectively went at Steve, he would fuck us all up.
That's right.
And then he would tase us at the end.
Yes,
right.
It would hurt.
Yes.
Steve, don't arrest me.
Thank you.
Yes.
I agree. Any cop would waste us. Let's be honest.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. That's what they're trained to do.
They fight. When's the last time you got in a fight, Kevin Smith?
A long time
like
ago.
Like a physical fight?
No. I don't really feel like
grade
getting one. And yeah.
I was talking to police officers the other day. We had negotiations, and they were like, "You just can't find kids." And it was a statement made by the FOP, and it was shocking to hear it, but it's funny. They're like, "How often do you find kids that fight anymore?"
Yeah.
They all play video games, and they were saying this is part of the reason we're having trouble attracting kids, because part of being a police officer is you're gonna get punched in the face.
There's going to be physical violence involved in your job.
I've been married 20 years. I've never been punched in the face, right?
I mean, Steve, right? When you were a patrol officer,
knock on wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been quite a few years since I've been in a fight as well. So I'm behind the desk now. But the officers who are out there every now, yeah, we get punched regularly. We get
physical altercations.
You're chasing,
right?
You fall down, you break your ankle, you sprain your ankle, whatever else. I mean, it's pretty regular that we have officer injuries. They're not always major, but it is pretty often.
Yep. All right. So thanks, Steve. Good story. I'm going to work on Mayor Dermody, and hopefully he stays strong on this one because he's 100% correct in this. So let's come back. We got some Mayor Tiffany Henyard stories we're going to talk about, and Mayor Tiff is starting a podcast, and I think she got that idea from us.
She's going to try to bring down LockPod.
So we'll start with some ads. Byway Brewing, a family-friendly microbrewery, welcomes you to their spacious taproom and outdoor patio. Enjoy award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven menu, and craft draft cocktails. Their unique brewing equipment and production facility provides a perfect backdrop for private events, whether it's a bridal shower, a reunion, or corporate party. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Customer service is their top priority at Byway Brewing, so visit them just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Kuklakis Law. Are you currently navigating complex legal challenges, unsure of where to turn for guidance? Your search ends here with Kuklakis Law, your trusted partner for legal solutions in Indiana and Illinois. Whether you're seeking expert representation for real estate transactions, need assistance in forming your business, or have experienced a personal injury at work or in a car crash, Kuklakis Law is here for you. No matter the nature of your legal issue, our team is ready to help. Call us today at 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you demand nothing but the best for your home and family, trust the industry leader, Rogers Roofing. For over 54 years, they've been transforming homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. Their commitment to quality shines through in their roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the most comprehensive warranties in the business. Visit their website at rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 to schedule your free consultation and get on their busy spring schedule. That's rogersroofing.com or 219-933-9145. At Rogers Roofing, we expect nothing less than excellence every time.
Marissa was talking about Steve's wailing on the rat pinata at 219 Day.
Oh.
See? As a perfect
were
example.
too.
As a perfect example of why not. I was just trying to kill it. It
Yeah.
was going too long.
Its legs were off.
Dude, that rat was that was a tough rat, right? It was hard to break. So, Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltensberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time and within budget. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Misprint, your partner for creating impactful visual solutions.
Thank you to our sponsors, including Misprint, who did this wonderful Power in Indiana Lake County Studios sign.
All right. We love Mayor
The moment
Tiff.
we've been waiting for.
I'm extending an invitation to Mayor Tiffany Henyard to come on LockPod,
Whoa.
and I promise I will be nice. I
Why-
promise
why
I won't
wouldn't
say
we?
shit. I'll just tape my mouth shut. And if anything I say will be nothing but complimentary. I don't want to make her under attack while she's on the show.
I got some tough questions for her.
Okay. Like, I would ask, like, honest questions, not to make her look bad. I would just be like, are you worried about the FBI? Like, I mean, do you think about these
that's
things
an
at
easy
all?
answer. Yes.
Right? But, like, apparently she's not. You know, I mean, that's so. Anyway, she's starting a podcast. We have a little YouTube link. You want to click on that real quick, John?
Yeah. So this is a clip from her introducing her podcast on Spotify. So
Oh, I thought this was the news introduction.
so it starts on. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard is launching what she calls the most entertaining political podcast ever.
Yes, but this
How
all
about
comes
that?
as she is being investigated by the FBI for allegations of corruption.
That's good.
Roseanne joins us live with more details.
Right there, John. There. So
Oh, she is being. See, we haven't gotten to that story yet.
no, but I think it's interesting that she said it's the most entertaining political podcast ever.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's
Smoke
like,
and
we're in
mirrors.
competition.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, baby.
Screw her, man.
I
That's
mean,
a
my
freaking
con-
shot right at us.
I know. My concern is that she's better looking than us, or
Yeah.
than better looking than me.
No doubt.
She's
We all agree with that, right?
Yes.
Everybody?
she's getting more coverage about the podcast already. Like there
Yeah.
aren't like news
Dude, I
stories.
smoked a joint on our podcast. We didn't get this much coverage.
Why wasn't Fox 32 saying
What the fuck,
Mayor's
man?
podcast?
Right? I mean, what do you
Yes.
have to do? Do I have to, like,
You have
do I
to-
have to ramp
You
it
have
up
to
from
be-
smoking weed?
You have to
Apparently-
be investigated by the FBI.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not going to
don't
go
want to
there.
be on that.
I don't want to
We
go
don't
there.
want to be on that
I don't
level.
want to go there.
No.
I promise you. Yeah.
But you know, she,
Like, those are bad jujus.
yes, yes, no. And by the way, we happen to be, one thing that we have that she doesn't have is that we are on Stitcher
Yeah, true. And Grinder.
and iHeart,
And Grinder.
things like that Steve got us.
That's
And
right.
I don't
Thank
think
you,
we're on
Steve.
Grinder.
My Grinder vision.
So it is going to be called The Truth Speaks, the Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast. Truth Speaks, the Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast. It debuts next week. And here she is talking about her podcast and what you might be able to get from
So
that.
I heard you guys was looking for me. If you looking for Tiffany Henyard, press the subscribe button. Yes, you. Press the subscribe button. So, what you want me to talk about?
Wow.
How did she get that shit?
Look at those graphics.
She got to subscribe. She pointed to it, John. What the fuck?
It was like
man?
floating. John, why don't
Like,
we
I
have
can't,
graphics
like subscribe
that?
right here? Bam.
And did you see like she was like pointing in the air
Yeah.
and things were coming up
I've
like
never seen
repos,
anything like this.
Vegas,
I've never
salary.
seen anything like this. What the fuck?
was
Man?
really
We've been on
good.
11 seasons.
I like that you paused that right where it says squatter warning on.
Yes.
I felt
Can we-
really bad seeing this, so I created some graphics of my own.
Thank you.
That's
We have our own subscribe button now. Let me just flash this on the screen.
Thank you.
Let me see. I can't see.
It's gonna pop up on you guys in a second.
Oh,
Now that is what I like that.
can I point to
Just
it?
big enough font to
Point to
not
it.
make it on one line.
Subscribe here, right? You got it, John?
Yes.
Point
and,
up.
and then
I'll
down
go
here
like
also,
this.
right? Am I doing it right?
You're doing it. No, other way, Tom.
Oh, okay.
Other way.
Ready?
Yeah.
Subscribe here. Okay. Subscribe here.
I worked a long time on this. Okay.
Thank you. At least you could have made it flash, John, like you did for episode 50 or
Yeah.
something. Well, congratulations to Mayor Tiff on her soon-to-be broadcast podcast called True Speaks, the Tiffany Henyard on the Move podcast.
We're going to name season 11 after Tiffany Henyard in her honor because we're going to cover her a lot.
Her
because
honor, your honor.
It just doesn't get any better than this. Like,
It does.
how about
There's
this?
even better stuff.
Mayor
going on.
Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation. Let's talk about this, Kevin.
Yeah.
So she puts it.
No.
Foundations are wonderful. Like I shave my head every year for cancer patients, usually,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's and I raise the money. I used to do it through St. Baldrick's.
Yes.
Now I just do it through
Like
what is it?
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe, and I give the entire check to them. So last year I think I did $15,000 for the family. So I pick a
And
family.
those are, by the way, those are donations from individuals,
Yes.
from your campaign, from other political campaigns throughout the.
100% of what's donated to that GoFundMe goes right to the family.
Right.
100%. There's no like intermediary anymore. We used to go through St. Baldrick's. Now it just goes to the patient, right?
To the family.
So Mayor Tiffany obviously emulates her mayor hero. That's me. And she's trying to do the same thing, which is wonderful. So she comes up with the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.
Yes.
Which is a not-for-profit, which is a step up. I don't have a not-for-profit, right?
To help breast cancer patients.
Right.
That's the supposed goal.
So she did 10,000 donation right away from the Thornton Township Board that she's the supervisor of. So she has a not-for-profit, and she donates a bunch to the not-for-profit from taxpayer funds, that's pretty damn close to FBI investigation
That's
stuff.
interesting, right?
It's like, because once it gets in a nonprofit, she's sort of in charge, or her and the
that
board,
money.
right?
And she's the supervisor of the board at Township. So here she is introducing. Here's just a little clip about that, about the donation. So here she is.
So last fall, Henyard did something that would seemingly generate some good publicity, helping establish the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation to help breast cancer patients. And on the very day the charity was chartered, it received a huge donation, $10,000, from the Thornton Township Board, which Henyard presides over.
All right.
That was nice of them.
Interesting, right?
By the way, I got to start dancing like that during press events.
Yeah, you do.
That was.
I suck at dancing.
She's good at it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
do it anyway.
If I would lose votes, though, she gains votes because she's pretty and she's got good moves. I am awkward and funny looking.
So she decided in response to kind of like what she wanted to do for the foundation, she was going to take a march or do like a march from Dalton to Springfield.
Right.
And she did that. Kind of, it's interesting the way that it happened because number one, she documented the trip on her Facebook page, so it's a lot of it's out there, right, in the public domain. Secondly, she used township and village credit cards for hotels, meals, vehicles, including a flatbed trailer, and flying a drone and a DJ. So, John, if you could go to the 249
Always the
part?
DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
249.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dalton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our mayor right here coming from Dalton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our mayor, the people's mayor.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Y'all see my bike?
Look at her bike.
Township supervisor. That's
It looks
Wow.
like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest. That's the big.
So her bike said super mayor, and
I bet
the
you
DJ had it wrong. You said
I bet
people's
you the
mayor.
township paid for her bike. I guarantee you, the township paid for her bike. I guarantee you, her
And this is
personal
her
bike.
charity, though.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's
Oh,
the issue, right? Like, for example, if let's say the city was doing like a promotion and the city but it was all within the city.
Right.
This is the fact that the money is going to her foundation and then she uses that money to buy things
because the foundation has to have a board, right?
Sure, you would think.
And I imagine the board is dominated by her people, her supporters. So she's taking taxpayer money from Thornton Township, putting it into the non-for-profit that's controlled by her. Who knows? She could be paying herself a $10,000 a year salary and take all the money. She could be paying herself a $100,000 a year salary from the not-for-profit that she's using taxpayer money to fund. And then on this walk down to Springfield, she's got all these township employees and township assets to help her raise money for her charity so that she could control the money in the charity and give it back to her.
It's all very, and this is it gets even crazier. This is this issue about the merch. The merch, maybe, if you listen to this report, was purchased through the township, not through the charity. So let's play that, John.
There's the merch.
Shirt. Want a t-shirt?
Along the way, Henyard sold and gave away T-shirts and hoodies, also available on her charity's website. A week before the trip, the township paid $17,000 for specially printed hoodies and T-shirts, but won't say what they're for.
Wow.
I think that
yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So,
God, dude.
like but they're not saying what it's for. The public records requests are going unanswered. And then when questioned about it, and this is the last clip we have on this issue, this is kind of how she responded to the reporter's
Why are
question.
you using public money for your personal charity?
$17,000 for insurance. Why?
And with that, her security detail hustled Henyard upstairs and blocked the staircase with a tape.
Incredible. Wow. Block the staircase
with a table. You can hear it getting moved.
So we tried.
Dude, you see that? Like, she's walking around. She has literally four people escorting her. Like, everywhere she goes. And then, like, she's got the media trailing her.
Yeah.
And she thinks, honestly, in her mind, I guarantee you, she thinks she is, like, the queen.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Without
She's
a
like,
doubt.
look at me. All these people coming at me. It's like, you're a dumbass. They're coming at you because you're going down.
Yeah. It's
Like,
You don't
it's like
need
a shooting.
4 security guards if you're not fucking around.
Dalton trustees meeting or a Thornton
Right?
Township meeting.
I've never had a security guard assigned to me. Okay?
The only time you do
Yes.
is in some tough situations.
Big situations.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes in public meetings, actually not even sometimes.
No.
In public meetings, I always have a pretty heavy presence watching out for me because unfortunately people get beaten and killed.
Well, you get. I mean, it's not a. You've said this before. You get threatening letters and things that happen. So
if you're walking around as the mayor of Dalton, which is a small town, and you need a security of 4 people, you're fucking up, Tiffany. You're doing something wrong. Like, this is.
Well, it's to shield her from like pertinent questions and things like that. I don't understand why they're like, oh, no more questions. It's like, well, you're not the fucking president.
She's a shooting star, man. She's
I mean,
a shooting star. What do you do when you see a shooting star?
You look for a minute, and then you're like, where did it go?
Yep.
It just faded away.
She's a shooting. Tiffany Henyard is a shooting star. And you watch a shooting star as it's burning across the sky, and then it goes out. You watch. She's not going to be around much longer, guys. Mark my words.
Yeah, I think.
My words.
I think that's everybody's thought.
I guarantee you, she doesn't get to 300 podcasts like Lock Pod. Guarantee you.
She's not getting to season 11 in 2.5 years.
She'll be doing it from a federal penitentiary if she's going to be getting that many. So,
and
Does
then
she need a producer, by the way?
that
would be fun.
Show off those graphics, John.
That would be fun.
Show off that subscribe graphic. You've got the job. So just a follow up real quick. So one thing that's happened about her charity since that story aired was the Illinois Attorney General has told the foundation that they cannot solicit any more donations while they're doing this investigation because they don't have the correct disclosures from the charity about how money was received or spent.
Shocker.
Yeah, no kidding.
Shocker.
Yeah, newsflash, John.
No kidding.
So there's our Mayor Tiff update.
Thank you, Mayor Tiffany. Another great segment. Thank you to the DJ. I am going to start dancing more, and I definitely need a DJ, Joe. If you're interested, apply.
Oh, you act like I don't have a million playlists on my Spotify.
I know you do. That's why I was looking right at you.
She's not on Stitcher.
That's right.
I'm not on Stitcher.
But she is on Grindr.
Wow.
I don't even know what Grindr is. I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
Don't lie.
All right.
No.
No.
Is there? There is.
The mayor knows.
You definitely don't.
Mayor
know
knows
what
all
Grindr
about
is.
Grindr.
Is there definitely? There is a Grindr though. It's a
Yeah.
real
Oh
thing.
yeah, you should Google that.
It's like the
Yeah,
gay
I imagine.
Bumble.
Is it really?
I think, right?
And Bumble is like.
Yeah, not from your work.
Yeah.
computer.
Is Bumble is just like what's the other dating app?
Tinder?
Tinder. Is
Tinder,
Bumble
there
and
you
Tinder
go.
the same thing?
I don't know.
And then they have Grindr, which is more geared towards the gay community.
Yes.
Okay, I get that.
I think Grindr is a gay dating app.
Okay. You
All right.
think?
I
We should
think.
put Tom
is
on
it
Grindr
dating,
just
or
to
is
see
it
what
just
kind
a
of.
hookup app?
If you did it, As
Don't
long
know,
as Marissa
Jill.
signed off on it.
Wouldn't
I
that
would
be
do it.
awesome?
I would totally do it if Marissa signed
Yeah,
off
but
on
that's
it.
that's not fair to the guys.
Dude,
that
I don't
are-
want Marissa hearing like, oh my God, I saw your husband's name on
On
Grindr,
Grindr.
right?
Right.
She has to be part of this discussion, guys. That's all I'm
So
saying.
you want to
I don't-
catfish people?
I don't
Right.
think you should. I
No.
don't think that's fair. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. You
you're
don't
right,
want to be
you're right.
catfishing people.
You're right, because
That's
I would
what
be
I was
doing
trying
it
to
just for
say.
the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
How
you
about
gotta
this?
do
guys
some
that are
stuff.
like,
We were on to something, and John freaking let it drop in like season 4
Yeah,
or
the
something.
AI dating.
Yeah, man. I
We
think we
haven't
should
done
do
that
this.
But
And
dude,
you're not
did-
catfishing anyone then, Jill. It's an AI, right?
there's been some like
There's been
weird stuff about
You're
that.
catfishing
though.
a freaking AI computer. Who
Are
cares,
we
right?
we creating the AI and
Yes.
controlling it?
Yes.
would.
Then you're catfishing people.
You're catfishing
no.
a computer. Who
It's-
cares,
it's,
right?
I'm dating the AI.
Yeah, John's
Yeah.
dating.
Oh, well, then
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
But now it's coming out that these AI girlfriends and boyfriends are harvesting your data.
Yes, that's what I keep.
Okay,
reading.
let's do this. Let's do a Lockpod. Let's call the person Lockpod. It's a computer anyway.
Sure.
So Lockpod is a person,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Lockpod will have a relationship with the AI.
Okay.
So it'll like pull Lockpod's
From all of
information.
us.
Who cares?
Yeah.
No, we'll just make up. My name is Lockpod,
Yeah.
right? This is my picture, and it's a picture of you.
No,
right?
I'm saying she'll be dating all of us, or he.
Yeah, and then we could like interact. It'll be part
or
of the
them.
show. How about that?
They.
We could interact
Yes.
with it as part of the show.
Yes.
All right.
And then everybody will get to experience
Like,
this.
what do you think, Lockpod? I think Tiffany Henyard is a great mayor,
Right?
Or whatever she says.
I just love this
He,
idea.
they.
Okay, let's do this, Steve. Right? You like it? We'll create a AI. We'll create a Lockpod profile. It'll be part of the show.
Season 12.
Because none of us will get in trouble with our wives if we do it this way, right?
True.
Right? Because like we have one of us has got to say, "Hey, Marissa, by the way, I'm going to start dating a AI model, and it's part of the show, right?"
Okay.
And then I'm doing it for 4 hours a day, and Marissa's like, "Honey, you're getting really
I
wrapped
thought
up in
that
this
show was
bit."
only twice a week.
You're down in the basement.
Where are
every
you?
night.
I'm
going
working on the podcast.
Leave me alone.
I'm working. All right.
right. We
wrap
got
us up.
Thanks for everybody
Locomotive.
for listening.
Welcome back.
Another great episode. Thanks for the cover last week, guys. It was an awesome show. I appreciate it a lot. It's nice to take time off, as you all know, and as you all know, I'm a huge skier. So anytime I can get out to the West Coast and go skiing, it's always a fun day for me. So thank you, Jill. Awesome to see you. Thanks for covering for Linz. Thanks for covering last week. These have been high quality shows so far.
See you on
Appreciate
Friday.
it.
Yeah, it's
Again.
only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday. See you in a few days. Steven, great. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for doing everything with Fred and all these great guests we've been getting. McCracken, all these. I appreciate it. Jay Vez, you've been pulling big time for us. You know, coming in sick. You know,
I'm here.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
and
thank
you know
you.
that subscribe with the hanging E on the bottom.
Do you like that?
I do. It was high quality stuff. Kevin Chandler, the Compass.
sir.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. We that was the weirdest pre-show we did ever last night. I did like the first half of pre-show, 8, and then Kevin came in and I bounced and he did the second half after. It was a disconnected pre-show.
Yeah.
But another great high quality show. So don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah.
Right? And we appreciate you. And on the way out, we have a great Talking Heads video.
We don't.
Why?
It says sound isn't available on TikTok for this thing.
Oh no!
Yeah.
God, they
It's
took
like
it
they
off?
removed the sound. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sucks. I should have put it up earlier.
Yeah.
This was such a good video. It was using Donald Trump's own words to sing a Talking Heads video.
Which song?
I forgot what song it was. Let the days
You
go
may
by.
find yourself.
Yeah, you may find yourself
Shotgun
living
Shack.
it. Yes, it was so good, man.
You may find
Oh,
yourself.
is that why they removed the sound?
Could've been, yeah.
God, that
Copyrighted
was so
song.
good. That sucks. I'm sorry, everybody. That was a good
All
one.
right,
So
go look it up.
You're just gonna have to listen to me on the way out. Appreciate
Singing
you
Talking
all.
Head song.
Yeah, you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. Appreciate you all. Thanks for listening to Lockpod. We'll be back on Friday with another high quality episode. That's another one, season 11, episode 15.